Now, as we are near the end of what has been a truly momentous year, who's had the biggest impact on the world in 2011? In a moment, details of how you can get involved. First though, all this week we will be asking some of Channel 4 News' correspondents to give us their personal thoughts. Tonight, our Foreign Affairs Correspondent Jonathan Rugman makes the case for a man no one had heard of this time last year, but who turned out to have a remarkable impact around the world.
Well, who would have thought it? A poor 23-year-old Tunisian vegetable seller, probably the person who changed the world the most in 2011, although he wasn't alive to see it himself. His name was Mohamed Bouazizi. He was working in a small town in the middle of Tunisia called Sidi Bouzid, and he had a vegetable cart just across the street from the governor's office. Now, one day, an official tried to confiscate the cart because the government said that he didn't have a license to trade. Mr. Bouazizi had had this happen to him before, and he was very upset, and he tried to stop it happening. And he says that when he did this, the woman official slapped him in the face. This really took him over the edge. So he went into the middle of the street, covered himself with paint thinner, and then set himself alight. His cousin, in the meantime, used his mobile phone to start filming the protests which developed outside the governor's office. The mobile phone footage was shown on the internet. It was broadcast on Al Jazeera. By then, Tunisia was on fire itself. There were thousands of people protesting in the capital Tunis on January the 14th when I arrived in the city. And by the end of that day, the president of Tunisia, Ben Ali, had fled the country. And the person who had started this in Tunisia was Bouazizi himself, who was by now dead. But basically what he did was to start a domino effect that spread from Tunisia to Egypt, to Libya, to Bahrain, to Yemen, and of course to Syria now. The twin evils, if you like, of economic failure and state repression, embodied in the life and indeed in the death of Mohamed Bouazizi, basically encouraging Arabs and others to rise up and to try and get rid of the people who had been keeping them down. And so it's entirely fitting, it seems to me, that for 2011, a man that many people may have not have heard of, an ordinary protester who set himself alight, should be the man who changed the world the most.
Jonathan Rugman making the case for Mohamed Bouazizi. We also want to know what you think. We're running a poll on our website where you can choose between the 6 people who we think most changed the world in 2011. We will reveal the results on New Year's Eve. And to take part, just go to channel4.com/news.